Hey everybody, Goosebumps are Dummies here, legally on paper, given a birth name, and today I am going to be talking about The Ghost Next Door, but not the original book nor the 90s episode, but a new episode from the Goosebumps 2025 series, Goosebumps The Vanishing. Ooh, scary. Woo! And today, let me tell you, we have a banger on our hands, but before I talk about the episode and its contents, I want to address the title. It is called The Girl Next Door currently, as I am speaking on Hulu and Disney+, but it is officially titled The Ghost Next Door. Currently, this video, when it comes out, will be titled The Girl Next Door, and that will change it to The Ghost Next Door when those titles get updated. And same goes for episode 7 and 8, for Camp Nightmare, which is episode 7's current title on those sites. And it's actually called Egg Monsters from Mars, or whatever the hell it's going to be. I know it's not Camp Nightmare, and episode 8 is currently only titled episode 8, so I'll just call it that. And yeah, that one will be titled Invasion of the Bysqueezers when that episode gets updated on those sites. So yeah, without further ado, let's talk about my favorite episode of the season, The Ghost Next Door. The episode kicks off with a Range Rover pulling up to a weird building, and this lady comes out, and we see that inside the building is this weird silence laboratory, and she sits on the table of a head of Anthony Brewer and all his body parts, and it's a pretty weird sight to see because it's David Schwimmer's head from Friends on a fucking table, just decapitated, and she explains that he's still alive because what has infected him has turned his body into a sludge that can still make him alive, even if decapitated like he is, and separated from all his limbs, when his limbs are cut up and shit. And she explains that she's just gonna melt him to speed up the process of how everything goes about. Because apparently if he melts into a sludge, the sludge will go back to the military fort and reform into a pod. Very weird shit, and yeah, he's just like, okay, kind of complaining, but nonetheless, what are you gonna do when you're ahead? Not complain. We are now at the retirement home where Anthony Brewer's mom is staying, and the grandma of Cece and Devin, in other words. And they are putting in the VHS. And let me just address that I'm not going to be talking about a lot of these weird segments in the episode where the VHS does not work, because for some reason those are there and they add absolutely nothing besides slightly elevating the drama. So basically the whole time, Trey is like, okay, Frankie, I'm cool that you trust me with your car, because he doesn't know he's a monster, he just thinks it was because he was being an asshole. Alex is upset because she thinks she reflects her mother in the tape. That's it. Also, Cece's grandma has a seizure and starts freaking out over, when she sees the fort in the tape. And that's it. That's all you need to know that happens outside the tape, aside from Devin's story, which we'll get to in a minute. So now, what is on the tape? Let's find out. The tape kicks off of a little experiment from young Anthony Brewer back in 1994. He's a little boy at this time. And then he jump scares his mom, and his dad starts complaining to him about it and how expensive the camera was. And he's like, I'm sorry. And it's clear that him and his father do not have a great relationship. Anthony Brewer thinks his father hates him, but, you know, we don't quite know, and we don't get to see his father more than this. I think it's a very interesting inclusion here, but nonetheless, still useless, but I think it's nice. It's just neat. Maddie then starts to flirt with a girl named Hannah, who's apparently a new girl, and the tape starts to bug out. Now we cut to Devin reality with the real Hannah, because this is actually the same Hannah! Who would have guessed? Oh, scary shit! And Hannah seems to be fucking controlling him. He's also having dementia attacks, which is just really, really weird. And the whole episode, they are going to Camp Nightmare, slowly getting closer. Because Camp Nightmare is actually where the old military fort is, and it's just been a nickname, as revealed next in the VHS tape. We get to see a kid named Samir in the VHS tape now, and he is one of the 4 kids who went missing, as well as a girl named Nicole. And they reveal their fears. Nicole is afraid of old people, and Samir is afraid of nothing. Wow. Proud of you, Samir. Maddie, who is holding the camcorder, goes up to Hannah, or actually Hannah comes to him, and she's like, what's up? And he's like, I need you to record this certain dare thing that we're doing. We're going to stay tonight at Camp Nightmare, revealing the whole scenario that's about to go down. You know what's going on. It ain't looking good. She starts to get a little scared, but eventually he's like, kind of convincing her, but not before Jen can show up. A young Jen, because Jen is the modern-day cop. Right now, she's just a petty, shitty high schooler. Fair enough. This is one of the reasons she wanted to hide the tape, because she's not fond of her old self, as you'll see in a minute. She is currently not with Maddie, and they actually had just broken up, so she's actually his ex-boyfriend, and she's pretty pissed to see him already getting a rebound with a new girl, and later, she actually steals the camcorder from one of the friends. Samira is holding it, I believe. And she gives it back to Anthony Brewer, and she starts to show herself frickin' throwing, this is very weird, Hannah's clothes around after she just got done in the locker room. It's super strange, and of course Maddie is pissed off of her. Later, Maddie is leaving a shop, and he is still recording it with Anthony, and Jen comes up to them and is pretty pissed, but still like, just get over that Hannah girl and take me with you to Camp Nightmare. And he's like, no, you're not invited. So Jen gets pretty pissed and says something very fucking bad to the camera. I hope you guys die at Camp Nightmare. That aged well. Clearly she hid this tape for that reason, because it makes her look guilty as fuck. Now a little while later, the night or the evening before the dare goes through, Matty and Anthony are having a ping pong game in the basement, and Matty is like, I'm going to do this, and let's just say Anthony isn't a big fan of it, and he tries to talk him out of it, but nonetheless, Maddie goes through with it all, even knowing the risk of what might actually happen at Camp Nightmare, considering all the rumors and how dumb this is, because he's actually just doing this to basically get back at Jen, because she's not happy with him and what he's doing, they're not even a couple anymore. Now at the actual events of the dare, they are in the room and they see, you guessed it, Anthony, and he's spying on him, he's been following him, and Matty gets him out of there. And they continue, and we finally get to see, or at least the kids finally get to see, what happens in 1994. The trapdoor opens after a malfunction, unknown reasons why, but you might know in a second. And, the spores pop out, and shit goes haywire, and eventually Hannah falls into the trapdoor, and she is discovering a huge, humongous, vast laboratory. It's very dark, it is very creepy, and eventually she encounters something crawling around in there, trying to get to her. Something alien. Something creepy and crawly and not actually good for you, it's a monster. And eventually it gets her as she's escaping the trapdoor after a long, intense sequence down there. And when the camcorder falls just about out of the trapdoor, she is dragged back in, and we get to see this mysterious figure in the background in a hazmat suit, who CJ points out is actually the lady from the hospital, fake doctor, who actually took Anthony Brewer's head at the end of the last episode and beginning of this episode. So yeah, very strange. And she closes the trapdoor and then it disappears off camera as Maddie and Jen arrive at the scene just to find that nobody is there anymore. They have vanished. That's what happened. There's a fucking monster down there. They all figure out that the lady in the hazmat suit, thanks to TJ's help once again, is, of course, the lady from the hospital, like I mentioned, who is not a real doctor. And they also start to worry about Devin, and they realize, hey, he was with a girl named Hannah, and she says she has something to do with this place. So what if it's the ghost Hannah version from this tape? What if her ghost has come back? And it's not too far out of the realm of possibility considering all that has happened. So they rush to his aid, and they find him at the ledge of Camp Nightmare to the ocean. And guess what Hannah's telling him to do? Commit suicide. That's not fucking cool. And he almost goes through with it until they snap him out of it, making him realize that the Hannah he's talking to does not exist. She is literally a figment of his imagination. There is no ghost, which I'm fine with. It's kind of a darker twist. There is no Hannah. It's almost like a play on schizophrenia in a way. But yeah, Hannah vanishes up in there. And yeah, that's the end of Hannah and the ghost next door. The kids return home to go talk to Anthony Brewer about some shit, because his head's supposedly still down in the basement, but of course they do not find it when they go there. Also, on the way back home, we get some interesting sequences with Trey basically becoming friends with Devin, and Cece making out with Alex. Not me. I don't like you, Cece. Okay, so she's a lesbian. I did not see this one coming when I initially watched the episode. It kind of took me by surprise, but I'm cool with it. That's pretty cool. Nonetheless, Cece is a lesbian. Noted. When they discover Anthony's head isn't there, they check the Ring doorbell footage, and whoop-de-doo, someone broke in the house and took his entire corpse. And where that corpse may be, well, it's melted, and now Anthony has appeared in a pod down in the fort. Let's now get to my upsides and downsides. Where do I begin with upsides? Alright, clearly, the main meat of this episode, we got this tease a few months back, the found footage. I'm going to keep this short to leave it in my overall review more, but holy fuck! Yeah, this is the reason this episode is so good and it's going to get such a high rating. Even if there's some things I don't like about it at the end of the day. The whole found footage segment is really fun to watch. It feels authentic. It looks like it's legitimately from ancient times, when everything in the world's black and white and all our eyes can see was black and white. All that type of shit. I'm clearly just joking, but you get the idea. This feels like an authentic 90s camcorder recording. It feels real, and the way the characters talk feels genuine and fluent. They don't feel like they're reading off a script, and it feels really good. So I think the acting there is top-notch, let alone the main actors of the episode. The kids are doing a great job. There's a nice subplot with Devin, which is very mysterious, but kind of creepy. And we also get the monster slightly revealed in the most tense sequence in all of the Goosebumps Disney Plus series, including the first season. And yeah, it is terrifying in the laboratory basement. That shit is horrific. Especially scary because it feels real, because it's on a VHS. Yeah. And yeah, it's a very entertaining watch thanks to the VHS stuff, and also we moved the plot forward a decent bit. We found out a little more about the lady, that she may or may not have something heavily to do with the laboratory, and that she was there that night that all the kids had vanished. So yeah, very good episode thanks to numerous things, mostly involving the VHS segments, but I have small issues, such as the random, cuts between them, because the VHS starts glitching out, which makes really no sense to be there. I don't know why these are in the episode. I guess just to slightly elevate the teens' personalities and drama, but either way, it's like, why? It's pointless. There's also a disappearing haunted car in the background. I'm not even fucking kidding. In the sequence where Cece makes out with Alex, not me, thank the Lord, there's a fucking car that randomly just disappears in and out of existence. I don't know if the editors knew this or not, but that doesn't actually happen in real life. And I know this is a Goosebumps show, but that has nothing to do with the plot. It's just like, what the fuck? It's just vanishing. You can clearly see it too. But maybe it's the joke, because the show is called Goosebumps the Vanishing. But it should have been called Goosebumps the Vanishing Car in episode 6, around the end mark. Because that is fucking vanishing. In and out of existence. Fucking weird. And I don't know how they missed this issue. It's very distracting too, trust me. And final thing. What the fuck was going on with Devin? This served literally no purpose in the episode aside from, giving Devin something to do. Even though we could have just been there with them watching VHS. And we still don't know, and this is going to go for an issue with episode 8, if that was actually Hannah or not talking to Devin. It could have literally been the aliens. It could have been literally his mind, because he's been going crazy lately thanks to the goop. So it might have just been a weird spasm or something. But either way, we have no idea what the fuck that was for and why he was telling the jump off the cliff. We have no clue. It was literally nonsensical and didn't make any sense. Really stupid. So yeah, let's move on to the rating. 9.5 out of 10. I'm really forgiving, and my only true issue here is definitely not making any sense of Hannah and her purpose being here in the ghost form that she takes, other than to fill up time and give Devin something to do. But either way, it's still a really good watch thanks to the VHS segments, and I'm absolutely going to check this one out multiple times in the future. This is definitely worth a rewatch if you watch a show and didn't really like it. This is one to rewatch, Maybe that'll improve your score, or at least this is absolutely the banger of the season, my absolute favorite episode. Because yes, I don't give any of the episodes a 10 out of 10, sadly. Probably my favorite episode in the show, though. At least personal favorite, but not the best. Because it still has some issues. But yeah, 9.5 out of 10. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode review, and tell me what you think of this one down below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.